is like economically satisfying, and I was like, sure.
Economically satisfying.
I was like, sure, that's a great way to put it. I'd never heard that phrasing before, but I respect it because it was a smart way to make it sound not cheap. I'm a fan. Oh God, ugh.
Economically satisfying.
Mexican rice, ugh. Oh God, I'm actually dying. Yeah, I'm fine. What episode are we on? 14, 15? 15.
15 now.
Welcome to Getsuga Talk Show, episode 15, I guess, you know.
How y'all doing?
One day we'll have an okay intro thing set up, but for now,
Eventually.
we laugh usually or whistle while we work, you know. We're back with Corinne, myself, and Andrew. How you guys doing today? Yeah? Okay, evil wizard. That's fine. What about you?
Still tired.
I'm doing alright.
Hey man, I'm tired too. I feel you. I gotta go to work right after this, so.
I'm hungry.
Hey, there's some leftovers in the kitchen right now if you want it.
I will destroy that, and you know it.
Don't eat all of it though. That's one of my snacks for tomorrow. Anyways, yeah, we don't really have a subject coming in today. We're just gonna do like discussions of some of the winter 2019 stuff, new episodes of the week, just a little thing that we usually do where we just kind of talk about stuff that happened this week. We'll start with the new show for you, the newest show for you, Domestic Girlfriend. We got her to watch it. Only 2 episodes are out. We already talked about this a little bit on Friday maybe, but
we touched briefly.
Yeah, either way. How do you feel about it?
I don't know. It's just one of those animes where it's like you watch it because there's not really much else to do.
Yeah. That's pretty much this whole season right now. There's like 3 okay shows, like Shield Hero. Shield Hero's cool.
Yeah.
Promised Neverland's cool. We're watching one called Dororo. That's pretty cool. It's about like... Did I tell you about this one? Have we talked about it? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I talked to a lot of people about a lot of stuff, so I always forget. Dororo's concept is like there's a samurai warlord. He wants power and prosperity for his land, so he makes a deal with all these demons, and they take all of his son's body parts when he's born. So this kid's born with no ears, no eyes, no like way to speak. He can't talk. He has no skin.
Legs.
Yeah, no arms, no legs.
Yeah.
Got super robbed. It's just a story of that kid growing up as a mannequin and like fighting demons to get his body parts back. It's pretty cool.
That's gotta be really hard.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, he's like a mannequin, so like they haven't really explained the whole story yet, but he got found by a mannequin, like a doll maker kind of guy. So he got like mannequin arms and shit, and he can somehow control them, you know, futuristic technology that didn't exist back then, but they use whatever.
Yeah. And
then he like rips off his arms and he has blades underneath, and then he just cuts shit up with like blade arms. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't see, hear, speak, any of that, so it's interesting.
Well, he can sort of see.
Yeah, but it's
more like spirits.
Yeah, he like senses the aura of the people more than anything. He's like, oh, this person has a white aura, so they're a pure soul. And then he sees red, and he's like, oh, they're a demon. It's pretty much like the whole concept of the show.
Yeah.
Does he like know which ones have his body parts?
I don't think so. I think he's just killing them.
I think he's just hunting down all the freaking...
So far, we've seen him kill 2, because there's been 2 episodes. The first one he killed gave him like the skin on his face back, and then the second one they didn't really show very well. We don't know what it was, but he got something back in his abdomen area.
Looks like
we don't know if he got his skin back or if he got like a organ back.
Internal back.
We're not sure. But that show's pretty cool. I know you didn't watch it, so we're gonna kind of just break it down real quick. It's a cool episode. We learned a little bit more about how the whole like seeing works, because they've shown us in his eyes what things look like a couple of times. It's either white, red, or some variation of those colors, and
a little bit of yellow for that one.
Was there yellow? I don't remember.
Yeah, there was yellow. The creature with the bell in the previous episode.
Yeah, that's right. I want to know more about that thing. I guess it was just a spirit, right?
Yeah.
Because it was ringing the bell, the guy who died first in that village, which is weird. Oh, look, ads popping up all over. I need to wipe my computer really bad.
Probably.
I have tried, man. I've installed a couple of antiviruses and nothing's working, and it's breaking my heart. Don't go breaking my heart. Don't go breaking my heart.
Yeah, if you haven't used Malwarebytes before.
I have Malwarebytes, and I didn't find anything. I also used Avast. I used Windows Security. I tried Norton. I tried a couple things, and I'm kind of annoyed at this point.
Might just be time to take it in and get it scrubbed.
I can do that myself, but that's a lot of work. Anyways, Dororo is cool. I don't know. It's still something I'm watching this season. It's enjoyable. 2 episodes in. Not bad.
Looking forward to the update Tuesday, right?
Is it Tuesday?
I think it updates Tuesdays.
I don't know. Yeah. Sometime in this week we'll get an update. But right now, it's a show. It's enjoyable. It's not trash. But back to the one that we had you watch. Sorry, Domestic Girlfriend. You said it's just a show that you watch because it's there. It's not terrible, but somehow it's one of the better shows this season, which is really sad. There's some really bad shows out. I talked about Girly Air Force with you off stream. That was just terrible. Don't even waste your time. There's one about the day the rainbow came or something like that. I don't remember what the English translation is, but it's about this college girl. This college girl falls in love with this 5th grader, and then has her dress up in cosplay and stuff for her and pays her in sweets. Yeah, it's really weird. I'm not a fan of it for sure.
Creepy at best. At best.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some really trash shows. What do you think, though? Opinions, thoughts? What would you do in this situation? I kind of like put that into your head earlier. But could you imagine just like hooking up with somebody and then a week later getting married, or like your parents get married and, oh, you're my brother now?
I don't put myself in situations like that.
But what if? That's the question. The what if? How do you act normally living with somebody that you slept with a week ago, and they have to be your brother? But you're in high school in this situation. You don't get to just leave.
I would still move in with a friend.
I guess
that would be weird.
Guess that's an option. But he kind of has feelings for her. So what if you kind of like the guy? You know, love at first fuck. Like, that's pretty much the basis of the show.
No, I would move.
You'd move? There's
Yep.
no question. You're just gone.
No question. That's what happens.
No questions, no answers.
Somebody in chat said he'd tell the parents that they did it. I don't know if I could do that.
Oh, no.
Because one of the bases in the show that they talk about is like the parents are happy and they don't want to ruin their parents' happiness. I feel like that would ruin my parents' happiness, you know?
Or at least put a very
Because,
large
okay,
elephant
let's say you're the parent in the situation, okay? You marry somebody, you have kids the same age, cool, you know, whatever, they're going to get along, haha, it'll be great. And then, like, a weekend, they're like, hey, look, so we had sex. And then you're just like, what do you do at that point?
You ask them if they used protection.
No, I don't ask them if they used protection.
Well, you don't want
Okay,
them
first
having
of all,
children
let
together.
me set my rules on this. And this is like, I don't know, people call me sexist for this. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what you care about my opinion on this. But if my new wife and her son fucked my little girl, I'm killing that boy. I'm sorry, it's just happening. I don't give a fuck if they use protection. And then if my son did it, I don't even, do I like, what do you, how do you punish your child? Like, what?
Banish him from the family, strip him of the family name,
You just gotta kind of ask why'd you
ostracize
do
his
it,
ass
and
to
then
the farthest
find
ends
out
of the universe.
they just did it because they could. I don't know. I would probably.
Yeah, I'm definitely kicking him out of the house at this point.
I can't kick him out of the house. You know what I mean? Like, that's fucked. But, okay, what if they told you it happened before they knew, too? You know what I mean? I think that definitely changes, because that's the situation of the story, right? Is that they did it before they realized their parents were getting together. Which I think makes it less bad to me if I was the parent, but I still just wouldn't know how to handle it.
I definitely would need a week.
I'm being honest, I probably wouldn't be able to, like, be with my wife for a little while. You know what I mean? I think we just have to, like, kind of just, like, really think about everything that's happening. Like, I don't know.
I'm gonna need a minute.
I don't even know what to do in that kind of situation. Politely ask them to move into a different house, or like pay for an apartment for them to separately live in.
You want them to live separately? Just because they had sex once? Wouldn't you isolate one of the children?
I don't want my children having children when they're children.
So, but the way you said it, you're like
They're
putting
probably
them in an
gonna
apartment.
do it again.
Yeah, probably.
I would put one of them in the apartment, and the other one would
Okay,
stay in
see,
the
the way
house.
you were phrasing it, I thought you were saying you're just going to put them together away.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah, just keep fucking over there. As long as you're not near me, I'm fine with it.
Oh, my God.
So let's add in the second layer to it. Let's say you find out that, just for the situation of this, right? Let's say we're the husband and you're the wife in the situation, right? And you have two daughters. We have a son, one of us in each situation, right? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
okay.
hear you.
I don't know what you get. Like, you're not married to both of us, but individually in different timelines. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
anyways,
Okay.
And then, okay, so this happened, okay? We isolate them. We let's say we send the daughter away, just for instance, okay? The daughter that he slept with. Then what happens when he comes back and he's like, well, I fucked your other daughter. And then he's just like, well... the series that we're talking about for the stream, it's called Domestic Girlfriend. The long and the short story, this dude's in love with his teacher. He's really, really into it. Or into her.
Ultimately comes to the decision that it's probably never going to come of
yeah,
anything.
because there's like rumors that she has a boyfriend and stuff, you know. So he's like, you know what? It's not going to happen. His friends invite him to a mixer. He meets a girl. She's like, hey, you want to get out of here? And he's like, yeah, sure. I don't like this. This is weird. She takes him to her house, and she's like, want to fuck? And he's like, sure, I guess this is weird. And they fuck. And then a week later, his dad's like, hey, I'm getting remarried. And he's like, cool, whatever, you know. Mom's been dead for 10 years, no big deal. And then the new wife comes over, and it's their mom. And then you find out that it's like the girl that he fucked and the teacher are sisters. And they're
now
both,
his
yeah.
sisters.
And they end up living together. And then it's just super awkward for my mans. Because Rui, the girl that he sleeps with in the show, is like, hey, don't worry about it. We're just going to pretend it didn't happen. And then he keeps having like these flashes to them fucking. He's like, how can I not remember that? Like, which, okay, my buddy Andrew, when we're showing her the show, is like, yeah, I don't know, man. I just couldn't forget about the boobs. I'm just like... And then like 30 seconds later on screen, the older sister, who's the teacher, walks out in just her underwear. And everyone's just like, Yeah, okay, so, sorry, back to that, though. Let's say my son ends up fucking your other daughter. What do we do then?
I'm killing him. That's basically what I would do.
He's dead to me.
But what if he was so earnest and he was, like, in love with them both or something?
In love with both?
I mean, polygamy is a thing.
He can move to Utah, far from me.
Utah actually doesn't really tolerate that thing. There's Utah and then the section of Utah where it's like, we don't talk about that part of Utah. I've lived there. You see the polygamists that are there, and they, like, deny that that's part of their religion. Or at least a lot of them do. Or that they started off with
Or, conversely, what if both of your daughters were actually really into the son?
Oh my gosh.
You know?
You gotta have a talk with him and be like, no, he's attractive, but...
You're gonna say that about my son? We can't be married.
I would try to be like them because I wouldn't find him attractive. That's a kid. That's gross.
Yeah, but that's what the teacher says in the show. And then, you know... I'm just saying, sorry. Anyway, sorry.
I would tell them that there are other people. There are so many people in the world that they could get with besides this one person that they're living with. Like, they're gonna get... Ugh, no, that's gross.
How would you feel, Andrew? All right, you're the husband now. She says all this. How do you feel? What do you say? What do you do?
For the daughters or for the son?
Both.
The son's getting shipped off to wherever the godforsaken place I can think up off the top of my head. The daughters... I don't even know. Just
You gotta put security on the house,
lock their doors from the outside overnight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. And then, okay, the name of the show is Domestic Girlfriend. Slight spoiler, not going to name who, but he ends up dating one of them. What do you do in that situation? Fuck them having sex. Let's say they never told you they had sex, and then they're like, hey mom, hey dad, we're kind of dating now. Like,
Okay, in a Japanese household, how would that be taken?
I don't know. In
they
an American
care
household,
about
fuck the Japanese right now. We're talking about us as parents.
in American society.
Okay, this is my qualifier. I'm going to be honest. I think genuinely, if the kids were high schoolers when they met, I couldn't be mad. If they were children and then grew up and started dating together, that's a problem. Because then they would view each other more as siblings. But if they met, you know what I mean? And they're both just like, how you doing? You know, like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be less mad. I'd still be like...
Really?
I'd still be awestruck for a while. I'd just... And then I'm like that cartoon character when they're just like, is he alive? I'm just...
Well, here's another situation I've heard of. So these two teenagers have dated before. They've obviously have had sex with each other. So they break up and everything for like about a month. And then they find out later that both of their parents are getting married. What do you do then? Because that's your ex.
Okay, so would the parents have known that they were dating?
The parents did not know. And they had an awkward conversation because the parents are like, oh, I want you to meet my son. And the girl is like, oh, hi. Like, all confused because guess what? Her ex is sitting right in front of her and now has to live with her.
So are you asking what we do as parents or people in that situation?
What would you do? I mean, it's a little bit of the same situation, but a bit different.
No, it's very similar, but it is very different.
In a sense, it's different. It's history at this point. It's not something you can change.
Yeah, but
Unless
there's
one of them-
always that bit there.
Yeah.
I know, like, I don't know, do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, like, as much as, like, I've been single for, like, 2 years, but, like, if any of my exes were, like, in my life again and, like, trying to do stuff, it's, like, there's that level of comfort there when you're just kind of like, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really shitty, but it's a real thing.
Yep.
So, I don't know. And now you're living in the same house.
Yep. And the girl still had feelings for the guy.
Yeah, I don't know. That's hard.
So that's why.
As a parent, I'd feel stupid for not knowing my kids'
Dating
Yeah.
life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that'd be my first thing. Because I feel like I'd be not involved in my kid's life, like, hey, what'd you get up to last night? But, you know, I'd want my kids to be able to be like, oh, this is my girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I really, that's too far, you know? I don't need all that.
I would try to get my kids to trust me enough to tell me that at least maybe they're kind of seeing someone,
But, yeah.
you know.
I also feel like if, as a parent, I was dating somebody, I'd want my kids to meet before we were getting married.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't want them to meet at, like, the wedding day and just be like, that's just bad all around. First of all, so much sex happens at weddings. Second of all, like, it's just, you got to lay the groundwork. You got to know that it's not going to be a horrible idea, you know?
Yeah, because if your kids don't get along and they're going to be living with each other, they can make your marriage.
It will ruin the marriage, for sure.
Yeah.
It'll make it miserable, that's for damn sure.
For sure. So, I don't know. That's a big variation on that. That's hard. I still just couldn't even, like, it would take me, like, a solid week. Like, I wouldn't even be able to talk to my kids for a week. You know what I mean? If they're like, we're dating or we had sex,
There's not enough alcohol in the world.
Yeah, you wouldn't, my wife would probably hate me for a week because I would turn into an alcoholic and I'd just be sitting on my fucking lazy boy in the living room just like, oh, what happened?
Well,
where did I go wrong? Like,
I think at some point I'd just get to the point, well, this happened.
yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would need, like, a period of time to process, though. I couldn't just be like, oh, yeah, no big deal, whatever. And I wouldn't want to punish them right away because I'd really have to think about it. Like, it really depends on the circumstances, right? Because, again, I think if they met and they were just, like, attracted to each other at high school age, I couldn't be as mad.
Well, no.
But if they grew up as siblings and were like, hey, we're not even related, let's fuck. I'm choke slamming both of them. Like,
that's when you go and throw up first.
Yeah.
That's
First you
disgusting.
throw up, then you punish your children.
nah, I'm just, same time, dude. I'm choke slamming. Like, and they're going to be laying in it when I throw them on the ground.
Oh,
That's your punishment. Is that hot? You still into each other? Huh? No, that's just fucking gnarly, dude. I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even want to imagine that, you know?
I'm hoping I never have to.
I think the step thing, we were kind of talking about this off stream, but I think the step thing is far worse than the in-law thing. You know what I mean? Because if my sister got remarried or like my brother got married or whatever, you know what I mean? And they just happen to have like a attractive relative, I don't even think that'd be that bad. You know what I mean? Because you're not supposed to look at them at like, I don't know many situations where people look at their like brothers-in-law and sisters or cousins-in-law as like really close family, you know what I mean? Because usually you don't meet them until you're like 20 or 30 years old, usually, you know? So it's a lot less common. I think I'd be much less mad if I like married someone and then my brother or something like got together with my wife's sister.
I got two cousins that are both married to brothers.
Because then your family tree isn't super fucked, at least, right? At least it's still pretty, you know. There's just a little bit of crossover, but it's not
diverse as long as your kids don't sleep with their cousins.
Yeah, then that's where you get bad. But as long as that doesn't happen, you're fine. See, it's not like my grandpa. My grandpa really fucked my family tree. You know this story.
Do I?
Yeah, I've told it 100 times. My grandpa had a couple kids with this chick when they were married, got divorced, remarried her mom, and then everything made no sense in my family tree. My dad is his own uncle, and also his own nephew, and his own cousin. And his second cousins are actually his sisters and brothers and cousins. I don't know. Everything's all fucked. Nothing makes any sense.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about how awkward that is. I would kill my fucking dad. If my dad married my ex-wife, I'd fucking kill him. There's no trust there anymore. That is like, there's bro code. That's a thing, right? You know, there's like respecting, like, oh, I wouldn't sleep with your ex. You know, that's just how it goes. But my dad not only slept with her, but married. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Ooh. I'm getting a little heated on that one.
I think we're going slightly off subject here.
Yeah.
That's gotta be awful.
And then how do you have that discussion? Like, imagine, like, just talking with your mom and being like, Dad married my ex-wife. What? Yeah, they had kids. So now my ex-wife's children are my brothers and sisters. Like,
Yeah.
everything's fucked, dude. And then my children's aunts and uncles are my brothers and sisters. But
Wow.
they're also technically their brothers and sisters.
Wow.
Family trees are fucking wild, dude.
This has gone down the rabbit hole quite a distance.
Hey, man, this is a discussion. This is... Okay, look. This is kind of where I wanted the podcast to go at some point, right? It was like, yeah, anime is like our base discussion, but kind of like taking things off of this. Like, I could talk about this for a little while, because it's just fucking wild. My dad actually told me once... I'm from a southern family, and I've realized it more over the years. My dad once told me, he's like, yeah, she's your second cousin. It's okay. And I'm like, Dad,
Wait,
what? Like, excuse me? Well, you guys aren't that closely related. It'll be okay. And I'm like, Pop, what the fuck? Like, holy shit. Now I know that you're from Arkansas. Like, now I understand this. Everything makes more sense now. And like I said, like, over the years, I've realized it more and more. My dad groomed me into a racist without me knowing. But I'm not a racist, but he's definitely racist. I'm not going to say anything because, you know, terms of service and all that, but, like, I can tell you guys about it off stream. It's fucking hilarious, actually. Like, I thought it was funny growing up. I was like, haha, that's a good joke. And then I was like, oh, that's really fucked up to say. And it makes me feel kind of bad, but...
I'm starting to get a picture of your father in my head. It's not...
But he's extremely likable. It's the weirdest thing to explain. He's the biggest asshole that you like.
That sounds like my dad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
From what I've heard about your family life, I feel like I just would hate your family, though.
Yeah, but then you're also raised to try and, like, you know, make them approve of you, so then you can't hate them because you're still looking for their approval that you're not getting. But that's just a mental thing that kind of happens with that.
From what I found out about your family, the only response I could possibly give them, as of the description you've given me as of now, and not have met them myself, would be brutal, abject violence resulting in their imminent hospitalization.
They're also really two-faced. They'll be really nice to people they don't know, but once they start to get to know you, you see it. There was one time where Ronnie and I actually, we were going to my house because we were dropping off some stuff from my brothers. And I have a key to the house, of course, because they gave it to me, never took it back. So I'm getting into the house, and my stepdad immediately starts yelling at me, "What are you doing here?" And then Ron steps in, and he goes, "Hey, Ron, how are you doing?" And Ron said, "And that's how I knew that you were actually telling the truth about how messed up your family is."
Damn.
Yeah.
Hey, so on lighter subjects, there's a show that came out today apparently called Manoria Friends. It's about dragon lesbians.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yay, anime.
What?
I really want you to watch that movie called I Want to Eat Your Pancreas with Us.
Oh my god.
I think it'll be hilarious.
What?
It's on the list, man. We got a lot of stuff to get through. It'll happen.
Are they actual dragons?
I don't know. We can look it up real quick.
Are they dragon, like,
Ladies.
something?
Have you ever watched Kobayashi Dragon Maid?
I've seen ads for it. I did not watch it because of those.
Because of what?
The ads.
Really? It's a
Yeah.
fucking hilarious show. I don't know. What are your opinions on that? Kobayashi Dragon Maid song.
On Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid?
Yeah.
It's not that bad. I enjoyed watching it. It was funny. It was definitely funny. Other than that, though, I don't really have...
Oh, boy. Oh, this is the one based off the video game that we were looking at. The Ragnarok Online game.
It is?
It's the Dragon-esque. Yeah. I remember reading about this, actually.
Okay.
Talking about dragons, kind of. Or Rage of Bahamut, I'm sorry, not... Yeah, that's what you said, sorry. Yeah, no, we're kind of talking about dragons. Somebody in chat mentioned a show called Manaria Friends came out today about dragon lesbians. Yay, anime.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'd rather watch the trashy show like Domestic Girlfriend than something about lesbian dragon. That's just a fan service show. At least Domestic Girlfriend is pretty subtle with the fan service. There hasn't actually been anything like, ooh, you know, outside of like her coming out in a towel, but it wasn't like actually showing anything. They weren't trying to be like super provocative with it. It wasn't that bad. But I feel like that you're just going to watch and it's just going to be like moaning and whining, and that shit makes me uncomfortable.
That's annoying.
Yeah. There's all those memes on the internet, you know, you're talking about like why you have to watch anime with headphones, and it's just sound bites from shows, and like you watch the scene and it has nothing to do with the sound that's going on.
Yeah.
It's just girls going, and you're just like, oh my god.
Trying to fight, like fight scenes, you'll hear that.
I watched one where they were jogging down a street doing that, talking
Oh my
about
God.
food, and they're just like...
I've had my mom walk in on like animes and stuff, and she's like, oh, what are you watching? And I'm like, look. And she'll look at it, and it's kind of normal. Or sometimes she'll come in on like the really weird parts of like Adventure Time.
Yeah.
The ball drop one where you drop the ball and pick it up with your buns.
Yeah.
Yeah, she came in on that, and she's like, what are you watching?
I feel like anime in general is just so many of those moments where like I'm happy I live alone, because when I used to have a roommate, bro, I was like, please don't walk in right now, because you know that if they walk in right now, they're judging the shit out of you. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I watched High School DxD. We've talked about it. That show's beyond fan service and over the top. I was praying nobody watched it when I walked in when I was watching that. I wasn't watching it being creepy with some Vaseline and some fucking tissues, alright? I was watching it, like, laying in my bed, just like, oh yeah, that's like a decent show. But if somebody was to walk in and see half-naked women, you know, flying around and rubbing a dude, well, it's gonna get awkward for everybody, you know? And then they walk into, like, the boob song in there, and then it just gets even more awkward, and it's just...
Instantly all respect you have.
Everybody hopes that they never, like, I feel like I'd be less embarrassed if somebody walked in while I was watching porn, because at least you know what's going on. But if you think I'm watching anime for the purposes that porn would provide, I feel like I'd be much more heartbroken. If like, ooh, Mitch is into that stuff. Like, no, I'm not.
That's not what it is.
Officially lost all respect for you.
Yeah, like,
and
no.
your remaining is far gone.
Everybody did watch High School DxD for the plot, all right? We're talking about actual plot. Not
Not
it you who
this
did? Yeah,
plot.
yeah. He's not talking about the the mounds and mountains of plot. Yeah.
Yes.
Just actually, like, honestly, the plot was cool. It was about demons having chessboard, like, servants, and it was cool. Have we talked about this a little bit? Like, the theory behind High School DxD is, like, there's, like, a queen or a king who's in charge of, like, their family of demons and whatever else they have at their servants, but they all represent a chess piece on a chessboard, so she has, like, 2 knights, 2 bishops, like, and rooks and all that, or pawns, and, like, I think that was cool. It's actually a really cool plot. But then, yeah, DxD was, okay, so somebody in chat said he thought it was going to be cool. It was chess-based powers, dragons, and he thought DxD would be really cool, but then he couldn't get past your version of plot, yes.
Something mounds of plot.
Some slick way to say plot. Is that... But honestly, like, I feel like I'd be much less embarrassed. I don't get me wrong, I'd still be super embarrassed. That's just the awkward moment. But there are just so many times when I'm like, say I'm like in public or something, sitting there waiting for food or something at like Taco Bell or, you know, whatever, and I'm like scrolling through my phone, I'm like, ooh, anime clip, and I click on it, and the first thing you hear is like the girl moaning, and yeah, and you're just like, oh god, everyone just looked at me. Like, because then there's that doubly added part where everyone just like kind of turns and is just like, the fuck?
And they think that you just accidentally left your porn on?
Have you seen those YouTube videos or the Facebook videos where you click it and it's like meant to be like a funny thing or whatever, and then like halfway through it's just like a girl like screaming and moaning? Have you heard those? They're like they're trick videos. So you remember like Rickrolled? Everybody used to get Rickrolled back in the day.
Yeah.
And then like the one was like John Cena recently when it's like,
Yeah.
they're like, is this the Krusty Krab? No, this is John Cena. No, it's like it does that, and then all of a sudden it's just like it's literally porn audio put in, and you're just like,
Oh my gosh.
Well, this is
you
happening.
can't close it fast enough because everyone again has already looked at you by that point, and you're just like, ugh.
Ever caught one of those fun viruses on your computer that literally just takes you to porn sites?
No.
Yeah, apparently that's a thing.
Did it happen to you?
Yes, at
It's
the
because you
library.
visited a porn site.
I haven't on that computer.
On that computer? Hey, at least he's honest. I'll give that to you.
Oh my gosh.
Who the hell watches porn at the library?
Very desperate people with no internet.
My mom was once on her computer and she was like clicking on a website on Google and a whole porn site pulled up. I was like about 6 at the time and I was like, Mom, what's that? And my brother's sitting there too and he's like looking at it and she's like, don't look! And she like X's it out.
Oh man, I'm glad that like the pop-up generation has died a little bit, because that used to be the only viruses you would get was pop-ups. But I've never gotten like porn pop-ups. That's never been a thing that's happened to me.
Yeah, no, that happened to me while I was looking up research for my English paper at the library.
He was doing it for science. All right, we're okay. Off subject's one thing. This is like a whole new world. Anyways, I think it's you. I think you're doing this to us. I think it's your fault. Usually when it's just me and him, we're pretty good about being on topic. You did this to us. Okay. Anyways, the next show we've been watching this season, Rising of a Shield Hero. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's alright. It's an isekai. They've been reading it or watching it. I've read everything in one night because I was like, oh, this is good.
Scroll.
Yeah, and I just kept scrolling. Like 3.5, 4 hours later, I was like, oh, I read all of it. Shit. So I'm really far ahead now. So I know what's going to happen. But I'm curious to see how they're going to translate it. And like,
You know what's going to happen for like the next 3 seasons if they make it that far.
they're only on 50 chapters, so it's like 2 seasons worth total. So it's enjoyable, though.
That's what?
I don't know. There's nothing. It's
5,
like,
6 books.
while it's an enjoyable show, I feel like it's like perfectly unnotable. You know what I mean? There's nothing like, man, that was really cool, or this really unique thing about the show. It's just an
It's not
average show done well. Like,
It's not groundbreaking.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
well written.
yeah.
And
So there's not a whole lot to
well-produced.
comment. You meant like, wow, what an original character design. Wow. I did say something about this to you though when we were watching it. I think like they've, for the first time, actually found like a really good anti-villain, because Iwatani isn't like, he really doesn't want to be a villain, but he's doing it because it's what he has to do. And Momonga and Overlord, like, he's just a villain. I don't think he's an anti-villain, really.
At the same time, he's sort of stuck.
He doesn't have a choice, and I get that, but he's not what I would, like, picture as an anti-villain. When I think anti-villains, I think of, like, Punisher. That's, like, a good anti-villain.
Yeah.
Animemes is going nuts for raccoon lollies right now. I don't even want to know.
Oh, God. No.
Oh, because Shield Hero. Well, it's okay. In, like, 2 episodes, she won't be a lolly anymore. Spoilers.
Damn, dude.
It's not like a huge spoiler. If you watch the fucking intro, she goes from a child to an adult.
I figured.
Yeah.
Does it happen every time she like levels up?
I'm not going to tell you the situation, but yeah, like, she does at some point just become an adult. And he doesn't realize that she's not a child anymore for some reason. He's like, oh, she's still just a little kid. And everyone's, like, staring at her, and he's like, what? And yeah, it's interesting. You got really disappointed with what they did with Overlord? Season 3 was just bad.
Yeah.
Seasons 1 and 2 were really enjoyable, but Season 3 was the death of... all the CGI killed it.
Oh, my God.
It, like, ruined the impact of all the episodes. Are you caught up with Overlord?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, the end of Season 3, like, whatever those fucking things were supposed to be, they weren't scary. They were just like, what is that?
The
like,
goats.
Oh, they're scary.
or the ghosts? Yeah, is that what they were supposed to
They're
be?
supposed
Yeah.
to be like
Yeah.
goats.
That's what they called them on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, that's just... They just weren't intimidating.
They were just squishing people under their feet, basically.
Yeah.
They were scary in a sense. by how terrible the CGI made them look, for one.
They weren't like something that would have scared me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I saw that, I'd just be like, what is that? And they didn't really do anything other than just stepping on people and eating them.
Yeah.
Which makes me, in my mind, think that it'd be actually relatively easy to fight. If that makes sense.
Mm.
With the size they are, probably not.
That's going to be a
I mean,
climb.
but if you have powers, you'd be fine. The head knight was able to fight one off. You know what I mean?
Was able to repel, not actually
I
do
said
damage.
fight one off. Okay? But he's also pretty underleveled when you look at the grand scheme of everything.
Yeah.
You didn't mind the CGI. You just like the extra characters. The main characters are boring now. See, but every time they add extra characters, you know they're just going to die. Which kind of broke me, because, like, it took away from, like, oh, like, should I like these characters? Because you had that first set of adventurers that just died. You're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, holy shit, the show's going to be dark. And then you meet another group and they die, and you're like, oh, well, I get it's just gonna keep happening. It would have been cool if they actually kept some of them alive or something, or, like,
one of them
anything.
got away.
Yeah.
Anything.
Brain's the only one who's, like, gotten away from one of them. You know what I mean? But that's because of something that I can't tell you because I know because of the books.
Yeah,
spoilers.
I'm getting there myself.
Without telling you anything, someone scared off Demiurge. I won't tell you who.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's an achievement in itself.
Yeah.
Considering the fact the dude is literally a demon.
Climb is okay, but Brain's better than Climb. Climb's annoying.
On top of the fact he's a bit
He's a punk.
slow.
His fucking princess bitch is gonna just eat him one day or something.
Uh-huh.
Whatever she is.
She gonna eat his liver.
I want to know more about her story. But yeah, like somebody said in chat, I feel like the Overlord arcs have been kind of underwhelming. I think like the first like season was really enjoyable.
Second season was mildly.
I think like the first half of the second season was enjoyable, but it's just getting to a point where it's like, okay, like nothing big has happened yet. They introduced the dragon at the end of the first season, hasn't come back.
No. On top of the fact, nothing that we've seen so far has even a slight chance of fighting Ainz. And so
Except the dragon that we know nothing about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? That lady and the dragon, and they were like, oh, we're going to go do stuff. It's been 2 seasons since we saw them, haven't seen them.
Yeah.
Like, what was the point of showing us that if they're not even going to be involved in anything for 2 seasons? And it kind of takes away from it, too, like what you said. Like, nothing can touch Ainz. So it kind of is just like, eh. The only people that can beat Ainz are his own people. And there's those relics that we didn't learn anything about this season. They talked about them in season 2 for like 2 episodes, and now they're just gone. Nobody's brought them up again.
Yeah.
Well, for most of the episodes, you just know he's gonna win.
Yeah.
Like,
And that takes away from it.
It's
So
become boring and slightly redundant.
yeah.
Overdone.
That's why I'm liking Shield Hero. I'm not going to like spoil like, any particular fight, but he definitely doesn't win all the time.
No, I see him getting his ass kicked actually quite a bit more often than winning.
yeah.
Especially in a one-on-one fight, if all you can do is defend, you aren't very useful.
Well, like he kind of just loses in the first episode when they like actually like convict him and everything of being a rapist. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm glad that they didn't do that. They didn't fall into that trope like the main character always wins, and that's something that I can enjoy about that. But in Overlord, you just never are concerned that he's gonna lose.
It's a lot like Kakigori.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that piece of shit show. I don't know why people liked it.
Main character.
So there's a show on Netflix called Kakigori. Have you seen it or heard of it or watched it?
Ronnie probably has.
Okay, so the basis of the show, it's a gambling high school. Everybody there gambles. That's how they earn their status. That's how they earn everything. And in the very first episode, you realize that the main character can't lose. So it's not an enjoyable show because it's about gambling.
I remember that. I watched one episode and I was done, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, like, I don't know why people liked it. They made a second season that's out this season, and I just don't know. Like, I watched the whole first season, and I was just like, what's the point? Like, a good gambling, or just a good gamble, period. Fuck about a show. Like, a good gamble means you have a chance to lose. Never once during that show I'm like, oh my god, she could lose. Never once happened. Because you're just like, oh, she just doesn't lose. It's just how it works. Like, it's fucking stupid. I don't know. That just takes away from shows like that for me. So that's kind of what Overlord's falling into right now, because there's nobody that even stands a chance against him. Other isekais are like overpowered characters. You have like Slime, which while the show didn't represent it very well, he had a chance to lose. He can lose.
Oh yeah. No, in the books you clearly could tell that he was about to get his ass handed to him.
Yeah, and then you have How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. We watched that pretty recently.
Mm-hmm.
You always knew that the main character could lose during that
Yeah.
fight with the colonel or whatever, and that was just a colonel. That wasn't even like the
Yeah.
top shit, you know?
No.
And then you watch Goblin Slayer, the main character, you knew, like, okay, that's kind of a shit trope, I guess, because you always knew that he was going to win somehow at the end, but it was with the help of his party. It wasn't just him, though, you know?
Yeah, no.
He wasn't walking around just being like, bitch, beat your ass. Every time he beat something big and bad, he was, like, dying, and his party saved him, you know?
Yeah.
So at least it keeps the suspense for you, because... we can finish Goblin Slayer. I watched the end with you. You remember when they were fighting in the little cave below the city, in the little tombs or whatever? Everyone thought he fucking died. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, like... That's
thought
fucking
he
wild.
died.
Somebody's talking about how in Slime, even though you know Rimuru is always going to win, it's not even difficult. It's still interesting. And then you have like the difference in the way the nations were built. Have you been watching Slime?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
With the newer episode, he probably would have lost against that one guy who was
that work?
The one that was the Dwarf King.
Gotcha.
He probably would have lost.
Oh,
Not really. Okay, look, if it was just a straight sword fight, for sure.
yeah.
But if Rimuru was just like, I'm just going to burn you, the Dwarf King would have been like, what do I do? You know? But the point they were making is at least like the nation building is a lot more enjoyable in Slime. Because it's really fun to see like they grow little bits here and there. You know, they pick up these new allies and everything. And like, it actually seems enjoyable. In Overlord, it's like, hey, I'm overpowered. I'm a nation now. Okay, you're a nation. We're all going to turn on him. Oh, we can't turn on him. We're going to die. That's like the whole show. It's just
and
like...
he's like, I don't know if I want you to live or not.
Yeah. He gets to decide everything. Whereas in, like, Slime, at least he's, like, an earnest main character who's, like, really trying to, like, help people and be better. Like, even...
Yeah.
I get that Momonga's a villain, so that's part of it, but even villains, like, can make it interesting. Rimuru's, like, actually, like, wanting to better his nation and stuff. Momonga's just like, I'll just kill people who get in my way. Like...
Yeah.
My nation, who gives a fuck about it? I own this land, but I never go to it or help people there. Like, it's not as interesting. Because when you get to see, like, even just in the first couple episodes of Slime, you got to watch the fucking goblins turn into hobgoblins. You're like, wait, and then you got to see how the power structure works. And then you had, like, the Goblin Chief, and then he became the Goblin King, and now he's the Goblin Lord and everything. Like, you got to see that cool structure build. And now they're allies with everyone, and I'm excited to see where that's going to go in Slime now that they're allies with, like, an actual city, and they've built their own city named Rimuru, which is cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Slime's just... Shield Hero is a simple show well done, but Slime is a simple show done extremely well. You know what I mean? It's so much fun. It has so much comedy in it and stuff. It's just hard not to enjoy. So,
Definitely.
we'll see how you guys feel about it as Shield Hero
continues.
continues. But for the time being, it's there. It's somewhat enjoyable. It's a thing.
Yeah.
The last show that I know all three of us watch for the time being is Promised Neverland. We had a new episode this week. I'm trying so hard not to read ahead on this one because, like...
You don't want to ruin it for yourself, do you?
Yeah, I want to enjoy this one with everybody. I know some spoilers, but I don't want to, like, read and be like, oh, you know? So, I don't know. I kind of said this when we finished the episode a minute ago, that, like, this episode didn't really tell us anything, but it kind of... This was, like, a character-building episode, I guess. Because we learned a lot more about Mom without actually learning anything about her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's very, very fucking aware, and she knows how to, like, wage psychological warfare without,
definitely.
affecting people that it shouldn't affect. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I bet all the other kids are like, yay, a new parent, haha, we're going to have fun. But the people who it's going to affect are like, shit,
Hi,
you know?
Brandon.
There's a Brandon.
What's up, buddy?
What's up?
Hey.
Come sit on my lap, buddy.
I gotta pee first.
Oh. You can pee on my lap, it's okay.
Ew.
No, don't actually, no, whoa, what the fuck, man? That's...
Motherfucker.
I thought, you know, you're going to, like, wet your pants, but you're going to whip it out. That's a go-go. I was just about to say Brandon was going to show up here soon, so we need to
Wrap
wrap it up, but we're, whatever, he didn't text me, it's on him.
Yeah.
Anyway, Promised Neverland, yeah, we have to learn more about how Mom's a psychological fucking maniac, and she clearly doesn't care that these children are dying, at least that we know of. Maybe we'll learn, like, a second side of her who's, like, actually super heartbroken, and she's just doing what she has to do to protect them or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or maybe to protect herself and her family? Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe.
We don't know. We don't know anything, which is... I'm cool with. I hope this show just doesn't fall off. I'll be so mad if by, like, episode 4, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Because episode 1 was so good. It made me so excited to watch.
Let's see. What other ones have we been...
Me and you have been watching Quintessential Quintuplets.
Yes. Which is not terrible.
Come get in the stream. Yeah, you can use each one of our
I
knees.
haven't watched the other ones yet.
That's fine. We're just talking about stuff. You can come talk with us. You missed us talking about domestic girlfriend and what we would do in that situation. You're a parent. Come here, buddy. Get in the stream. share our knees. You know, that way it's not super bad. See? It's not as awkward for everybody. All right, so we're going to circle back to our first topic. Fuck the rest of the shows. Fuck the rest of anime 2019.
I
So
can
we...
squat if you need.
No, you're good, man.
It feels weird having knee up my ass.
Is it his knee? Because my knee is like down
Yours
to your
is on my
thigh.
cheek, yeah.
Yeah. I'm
my
chilling.
God.
Whatever. You can grab another chair or something, I guess. There's the orange one in there. It's up to you. But, all right, so you remember Domestic Girlfriend, right? We watched some of that?
I do.
Yeah.
Have you watched the second episode yet?
No, sir.
It doesn't really matter. You understand the concept of the
Yeah.
show. You as a parent, okay? So,
There's room
it
over
doesn't
this
matter.
side.
Either way.
I
We can move this a little bit if we need to.
was just seeing on the screen.
There you
so
go.
I'd have more
So
room.
you as a parent, sir, you should, like, sit here.
Yeah.
Because that's super low. You can sit in front. All right, so, yeah, you're kind of...
Move over. Come on. There you go.
So you as a parent, right?
I'm not blocking.
Let's say, 10 years, no, 13 years down the road, you get remarried, right? And your new wife happens to have a couple of daughters. And Lincoln's like, hey, Dad, I had sex with one of those kids. What do you say? How do you react to that? How do you as a parent be like,
I don't know what I'd say. I mean, because first of all, he didn't grow up with them, and
Yeah, so
that's
that was
different.
that was actually my point. I was
That's
like, look,
different, yeah.
so that was one of my points when I was talking to them. I was like, look, if I was to marry a chick when my children were in their teenage years, I don't think I could be as mad at them.
Exactly.
Because they didn't grow up together. But if
Yeah,
they
it's
grew
like
up
you're meeting
together,
somebody.
yeah, but if they grew up together and were like, hey, we're gonna try it, I'd
Yeah,
slap the
that's-
shit out of them
yeah.
because like you're actually like that's family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just being married doesn't make you family.
Yeah, but like a 16-year-old and a 16-year-old meeting for the first time.
Yeah, and they just happen to find each
Yeah.
other attractive. It's still going to be awkward, but I wouldn't be as like, how fucking dare you? You know, it'd just be like, man, this is awkward. How do you separate them? Like, what do you do? You know, like, where do you go from there?
Lock one underneath the stairs. That's how
Is his name Harry
began,
Potter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how the whole story began.
So you want to get a wizard or a fucking witch for a daughter or son? All right.
Oh,
Okay, let's change the situation. What if it's Kyrie and
Yeah,
your
okay, so-
wife's
Don't. I
son?
don't know.
Would you kill him?
I said I'd kill him. Because I like, as shitty and like as sexist
I
as
mean,
some people
at the
take it
same
as.
time, though, if they're just
So
meeting.
this is my thing though, but like you know this about me, and I don't care what anybody says, how like misogynistic, massive, whatever the phrase might be. If a little boy fucks my daughter, I'm breaking his neck. Like that's just how
I mean,
it goes.
she's gonna get fucked sooner or later.
When she's 30, even if she's married and has 2 children, she didn't have sex. What are you talking about? She adopted those children. I refuse to believe it. Okay.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. That was the same with my brother. They're like, have you and Ronnie kissed yet? And we're married. And I'm like, you realize we've done more than that. And he goes, oh, what? I'm like, yeah. And he goes,
I think it's just like that paternal, like protective instinct. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Shit.
I think that's just how
I
it
think
is for
it'd be
me. Like,
more defensive for the daughter than
yeah,
the son,
for sure. But
still,
I think I'd be equally mad either way. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'd be mad
But
beyond belief.
I told him like, so part of the show is eventually they're going to start dating. We kind of talked about that. We know that. Then it adds in the second layer. Like, let's just say you skip the fact your kids never told you they had sex, right? Just one day they're like, hey, we're going to start dating. You know, like how do you?
So I'm guessing the parents find out.
Yeah, your children.
No, I'm saying. In
the show we don't know. I don't know anything. But what would you do, right? I told them I would need some time. I wouldn't talk to my children or my wife for like a week. I'd just be drinking alcohol and my lazy boy just contemplating life. I'd buy a
One of
corn
them
cob
would-
pipe and I'd be out there just puffing.
One of
like-
them would have to leave.
But that's fucked. What are you gonna do with that one kid? And which one do you send?
separate
Not mine,
apartment
hers.
And the boy.
But then what if your wife has a problem with that? Like what if it was your boy? And honestly, in the situation, it's more likely that the boy came onto the girl. You know. So you should be sending your boy away because he's a horn dog.
Not in this situation though. She came on to him, and
But we're talking about like as a parent in the reality of it, looking at it, honestly, knowing you and what your son might replicate. All right.
Yeah, that kid's getting a 1-ticket trip to the next apartment complex he can find.
I mean, I could send him to live with his mom for a little bit.
You could. But the thing in the show is the mom is dead. To be fair.
I should his mom might be soon too. So.
Oh shit!
Oh
Wow.
damn,
Okay.
dude, that got
Just
deep.
a joke. No CIA agents showing up at my house.
He did not just discriminate himself. It's okay. Incriminate. That's what the phrase. Not discriminate.
Incriminate.
Yeah, I knew what I was saying. I can use language
Oh
to
my
my
gosh,
benefit
this
occasionally.
got dark quick.
Regardless. Anyways, on to better, happier things.
Send him to.
All right, so-
on
so-
house then.
Your son,
Boarding school.
your son, and your new wife has 2 daughters. You find out your son fucked one of them.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go somewhere else
no,
with that. I thought you said
no.
my son and my wife.
No. Which we
Whoa.
can't go there. We were
Whoa.
talking about something like that a second ago. But
Whoa.
anyways,
Okay.
your son sleeps with one of the girls. You guys squash that shit. It's out of the, it's done. Everything leaves normally. A month later, you find out your son had sex with the other sister.
Try to squash that, but then knowing my luck, a month later we find out both of them are pregnant.
Your son's got the swimmers, the super swimmers.
Genetic, man.
Yeah, it is genetics. That's how babies are born.
Oh god.
I've got 3 kids. My dad's got 4. It's just,
Well, that means it's good. It's a downwards trend. That's good.
true.
That's good.
Lincoln will have 2.
Yeah, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. But you have 3 kids, so they're gonna have a lot together. So I'm just saying. Anyway,
Lock them in the tower like Rapunzel.
yeah.
Just separate towers.
Yeah. Each one on a different continent.
Damn,
Wow.
that's excessive.
Yeah.
Underwater. Surrounded by,
Under
like,
the sea.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I would have to break. I'd be pissed at my son. I'd be mad at the son either situation. I realized.
Yeah.
Because the initiation or
Because of what?
him initiating it, most
Yeah,
likely.
yeah. I would assume that it would have been on him, and like, especially if he went from one to the next, I'd be like, bro, you gotta stop. Like, our family tree is already fucked up enough. I don't need that extra layer. Because my tree was normal, and then my grandpa
We've been
did
there.
something. But then if my son ends up with sisters,
Okay,
it's
so
gonna do
then
some more
If
stuff.
you think it'd be more mad at the son, switch it out then. What if you had a daughter and your wife had a daughter and something happened?
I'd still be upset, but
As upset because you don't know.
well, not even on an incrimination point. Like, oh, this child initiated. Even if I knew which one did it, I feel like I'd still be mad either way. I'd be mad in any of these situations. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't want to think about it because I don't want it to ever happen.
Well, then don't marry somebody with children the same age as yours, or within 5 years, just to be safe.
Or just don't get married.
Yeah, that's an option too.
Probably what I'm doing.
Hey, that's a possibility.
Everybody's got their own way of doing shit.
All right, let's take this to the real Twilight Zone. You ready?
Don't do it.
Oh dear God.
Lincoln gets married 15 years down the road. Okay, he's 20, right? Something like that, 21. And he marries a chick in her 30s. But then she starts coming on to you.
How old would I be at that time?
In your 40s, right? Somewhere in your 40s? Maybe late 40s?
You said he's 20?
Yeah, he's 20 and she's in her mid-30s.
I'd be right at 40.
Yeah, and she's in her mid-30s.
Is she? I mean,
Well,
out of respect for Lincoln.
let's make it a little less like you're fucking your son over. They've already gotten divorced, and now she's coming on to you.
Is she hot?
Oh, dude.
That's kind of the point, yeah.
But then if I say they had a kid together,
Yep. And then you turn into
And
my
then-
grandpa and have kids with her.
yeah, then that would be his
And
brother.
knowing you, if you put your dick in it, it's gonna have a child.
Hey,
Damn.
that's not true. I have 3 kids out of. I'm not
Yeah, we're
saying on
not
air.
gonna
Yeah.
go there. Just
But, okay,
don't
just say.
hang yourself.
Just say. I don't know how to word this. So if he had a kid with her,
Yes.
then I had a kid with her.
So you're
They're-
doing it.
Her both.
So I
kids,
think without him saying it, he's doing
her
it.
2
I think
kids
that was
would
what we
be
just agreed on.
siblings and uncle, nephew, or
Mhm.
that's.
And they'd also be your kids' siblings. It'd be Lincoln's siblings.
And then it'd be my grandkid. And that's too much to think about, so no.
It hurts my brain, so no. Is that the defining rule now?
I don't want to take.
If it hurts my brain, it's not worth it. All right. Do we got any other crazy ones to throw out there just for the sake of it? Fuck anime discussion as a whole right now. Let's throw out some others. Any crazy thoughts? Anybody?
This rabbit.
Switch it around. If your dad divorced his wife now and got married to someone in her, say, with what your age is now, say 30, just 30 years old, and she came on to you.
No.
Your dad's wife.
I'm good.
And she
There's a
looked
handful
like-
of reasons. Okay. First of all, my family tree's already fucked enough. Not trying to do it anymore. It hurts my brain, right? Does that make you happy?
No, that works.
Hurts
mine.
That's just fucking weird. Because I can never, like, have a conversation with my dad normally again.
She'll pull out the whole, like you do it better than your dad. Like,
Yeah,
that would
that's
be
just
weird.
as fuck. She
Okay.
says that line,
Wow.
it's over. Like, there's no
Oh.
more discussion.
Okay.
Although I'd keep that in my bank so I could tell my dad and make fun of him at some
Right.
point down the road.
Wow.
I would. Like, it's just the thing.
Or
of it.
that I can see where your dad gets.
And
yeah.
honestly, my dad would beat the shit out of me. So there's just, like...
If you knew, he'd never find out.
No.
Dude, everything is always found out, even when you hide it really damn well. Everything
That's
is
not
found
true.
out eventually.
Yeah, that's not
That is definitely not true.
Grandkids find your shit in a closet in a locker.
That's why you don't keep proof. What the fuck? That is rule number one if you're going to do anything like that, is just don't keep proof. Just saying.
But then there's those situations that, like, what would you, if in this situation, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings, but there's a guy and a girl get together, marry each other, have kids or whatever, and then they find out that they were, like, siblings that never knew each other. That happens a lot.
Yeah, but usually in those situations, it's like third cousins twice removed.
No, I mean, like, actual siblings.
Like
I'm
brother
just saying
and
if
sister?
it happened.
Usually,
But
it
you
happens-
had
So,
no
so
clue.
what are you saying? Like, what would I do if I was that person? Fuck it. Like,
Stay
at that
married
point, yeah,
and
like,
stay having sex and all that?
there's nothing like...
'Cause you didn't
you've,
know,
You've
or-
clearly found that connection at that point.
At a
You know
certain
what I mean?
point, it's...
But it becomes back to the whole discussion of, like, what I think of as family and what really is family. You know what I mean? Two different things,
Yeah.
right? But, like, if I grew up with someone, that's a sibling. Like, if you and me were, like, childhood
Yeah.
friends, you're my brother. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, like,
Yeah.
question about that. But if I didn't know that somebody was my sibling because my parents hadn't seen each other in 20 fucking years or something, and, you know, like...
You get married and...
Don't get me wrong, there's definitely going to be that part for, like, a little while where we probably wouldn't sleep together for a couple months, where it's just, like...
It's like in How I Met Your Mother when Barney and Robin thought they were cousins.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
It'd be along those lines of just, like, holy shit, like, what did we just do? But I don't think that's...
Or when Barney was caught grinding up on his cousin in the club.
Oh yeah.
She turned
Am I
around.
actually a fucking hick? Because I'd stay with her. Like, if you're with, like...
Dude,
I asked that because I do the same. It's if you didn't know, then
At a certain point, you gotta really think about it as, like, does it really
I mean,
change
you wouldn't be
Because,
able,
like,
you
let's-
wouldn't be
let's
able
say,
to
like,
tell
yeah,
who the kids look like more because you guys look like each other. But
Yeah, but... So are you saying you're full siblings or, like, half siblings?
full.
Full siblings? That's also a lot harder. There's no way.
Okay,
I don't
okay,
even-
just say half then. Like your dad divorced your mom and your dad disappeared from your life
Yeah.
and had a kid with a different woman, and then
Usually the court catches that pretty well when they're doing marriage licenses.
they don't do DNA though.
Yeah, but they
You
do
don't
check... They
need
do look
to.
at your lineage, I think, right? Like, that's
Yeah.
part of it, yeah.
They only go to a certain, up to a certain. I think it's up to your.
Well, it's happened
grandparents.
before. Is the thing like with siblings.
That
Okay,
would
regardless,
probably happen
but-
on an adoption basis, where the parents
Could
are like, "Do not put me on the birth certificate."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they find out, but it's really rare.
Even though I think half siblings, it'd be a lot less like dastardly, like oh my god moment for me. Full siblings, it would definitely take me some time, but I don't think I'd leave the person. Especially like if you're saying we've been married, had kids, say we've been together like 10 years, like
Yeah.
that's hard because clearly things are going well. Usually, if
Yeah.
like, unless you're in the middle of a fight or something, I'm like fuck you, sister. You know, like
I was
Damn.
born first.
yeah. But honestly, like it'd be very hard to walk away from something like that. I think that's like maybe that's part of like my hopeless romantic side. Like you know what I mean? Like if you're in love, fuck it, you know. But don't fall in love with your sibling if you can help it, you know. If you find out that your siblings, that's one thing. But like, oh, so you're my sister, huh? You know, like that's weird. Like-
That's like trailer park.
yeah, that's some real honky tonk shit right there. That's when you got Cletus and Cletus Jr. over here talking with Buford down the road. You ever heard about them? Mama Joe?
Or Cletus Jr. and Jr.
Yeah. They all cousins. I fucked my sister last weekend, you know, that's kind of how it goes around here.
I loved when she smiled at me. Whew, that tooth.
I need a minute.
All right. Well, we've derailed pretty hard from anime, and me and him gotta go do a job, so I think we're gonna end the stream there. I think Andrew might be throwing up in the bathroom right now.
I love that she smiles with that one tooth.
Y'all are some nasty ass.
That being said, thank you guys for listening to episode 15. Is that what we agreed today was 15, I think? The Getsuga Talk Show. Catch you guys later. Hopefully we stay on subject next week, but we'll find out.
Unlikely.